Everybody, good morning. Welcome to Cedar Lane Unitarian Universalist Church. We're so happy you're here this morning with us, where love works. I'm the Reverend Dayna Edwards, and my pronouns are she and her, and I am one of the ministers serving this religious community. And this morning, my voice does not seem to want to cooperate. So I appreciate everybody being patient with me as I try to project, and my AV team up there for helping me project my voice. We've gathered as a community here for over 70 years on the traditional land of the Nacotchtank people, from which the name Anacostia is derived. They are part of the Piscataway group of tribes. We honor with gratitude the land itself and the people who have protected it throughout the generations. We gather in remembrance of those who were enslaved and worked this land without choice or reward. We gather in gratitude for all who have gone before us, whose love and labor helped to create and sustain this religious community. We gather from different places at different times, online and in person, as a religious community united in our commitment to make love work in our world. Whomever you are and whomever you love, wherever you are on life's journey, whatever your beliefs, gender identity, immigration status, or documentation status, you are welcome here. If you're joining us for the first time this morning, please raise your hand if you're in person or add your name to the chat if you're online. Welcome. Let's give our newcomers a nice welcome. If you've been attending for a while and you're interested in becoming a member of this religious community, please reach out to Nicole Singer, our membership coordinator, who's in the gray dress in the back, or you can email her if you are online. Our pastoral visitors are an extension of our ministry team. Carol Rogentine is here this morning as our pastoral visitor today. She and others are available to support you both in person and online. And you may be surprised to hear that we have a few announcements.
You probably know the League of Women Voters for their election activities to register voters and provide trusted, nonpartisan information on candidates. Do you also know the League is an advocacy organization that lobbies and supports many critical issues to address climate change, affordable housing, equitable redistricting, and preserving voter rights? They're active not only locally, but nationally as well. Yesterday, the League joined other pro-reproductive justice organizations in a rally at the Supreme Court to support reproductive rights. After today's service, please stop by the League's table outside to get election information, be registered to vote, and find out more about what this 100-year-plus old organization does to empower voters and to defend democracy locally and nationally.
Thank you, Jessica. Absolutely. That's such an important organization and one that I know is close to your heart and my heart. Another organization that has deep ties and deep roots to Cedar Lane is the Poor People's Campaign. And you may have heard that on June 18th, we'll be having a national call for moral revival on the National Mall. And we're looking for a few Cedar Laners to join the choir. This is an amazing opportunity. We've been personally invited to find 10 singers from Cedar Lane who would like to join and sing on stage on June 18th. If that sounds like something you'd be interested in, please let me know. I will be singing, and I don't know how to sing or read music, so you will not be alone. But if you feel called to, support the cause in this way with with the gift of your voice, we would love to have you.
As you may have seen, Cedar Lane's very own Alliance group is having a jewelry sale in the breezeway, which will continue after the service. What you may not know is that monies raised by the Alliance go to social justice causes. There's a list of recent groups that have received donations from them. So your donation of jewelry and your purchase of jewelry helps many other groups.
And one last announcement we have this morning, as you may have seen on the news or heard or experienced in your own life, another round of a COVID variant has sprung up. And so to protect ourselves, to protect you and the worship leaders this morning, we won't be having a receiving line today. So I will miss saying hello to each and every one of you, and I hope that you will reach out to me in another way this week if you feel so called. Now let us greet each other in person and online.
Good morning. I am Jessica Sawyer, your worship associate for today. My pronouns are she, her. As Skylar Hoffman comes forward to light the chalice, please rise in body and or in spirit to share the chalice lighting words. Share in the chat, please, where you are lighting your chalice from. O flaming chalice, symbol of a free faith, burn with the holy oil of helpfulness and service. Warm hearts grown cold with indifference, rekindle hope in despair. May we bring fuel for the fire of love. May the oil of loving kindness flow from us to thy leaping flame. May hands of service shelter thee, that no winds of hate may extinguish thy brightness. May thy light and warmth be eternal. May we be the keepers of thy flame.
When two violins are placed in a room, if a chord in one violin is struck, the other violin will sound the note. If this is your definition of hope, this is for you. The ones who know how powerful we are, who know we can sound the music and the people around us simply by playing our own strings. For the ones who sing life into broken wings, open their chests and offer their breath as wind on a still day when nothing seems to be moving, spare those intent on proving God is dead. This is all for the people, also for the people who wake early to watch the flowers bloom, who notice the moon at noon on a day when the world has slapped them in the face with its lack of light, for the mothers who feed their children first and thirst for nothing when they are full. So this is for the day we'll quit our jobs and work for something real. We'll feel for sunshine in the shadows, look for sun rays in the shade. This is for the people who will rattle the cages that the slave wage built, and for the ones who didn't know filth until tonight, but right now are beginning songs that sound something like people turning their porch lights on and calling the homeless back home. This is for doubt becoming faith, for falling from grace and climbing back up, for trading our silver platters for something that matters, like the gold that shines from our hands when we hold each other. This is for the grandmother who walked 1,000 miles on broken glass to find that single patch of grass to plant a family tree where fruit would grow to laugh. For you, when you give like every star is wishing on you, and for the people who still wish on stars, this is for you too. This is for the times you went through hell so someone else didn't have to. For the time that you taught a 14-year-old girl she was powerful. This is for the time that you taught a 14-year-old boy he was beautiful. This is for the radical anarchists asking a Republican to dance. Because what's the chance of everyone moving from right to left if the only moves they see are on NBC and CBS? This is for no becoming yes. This is for no becoming yes. For scars becoming breath. For saying I love you to people who will never say it to us. For scraping away the rust and remembering how to shine. For the dime you give away when you didn't have a penny. For the many beautiful things we do. For every song we've ever sung. For refusing to believe in miracles. Because miracles are the impossible becoming true. And everything is possible.
The things my family did. I am not the voices in my head. I am not the pieces of the brokenness inside. I am light. I am light. I am light, 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 I am light. I'm not the mistakes that I have made, or any of the things that caused me pain. I am not the pieces of the dream I left behind. I am light. 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 I am not the color of my eyes. I am not the skin on the outside. I am not my age. I am not my race. My soul inside is all light. Ooh. I am light. I am light. I am light. I am light. I am divinity defined. I am the God on the inside. I am a star, a piece of it all. I am light.
Thank you, Nicole. That was beautiful. And let me introduce everybody to Nicole Rameau. She is a Unitarian Universalist who attends All Souls, right, in Washington, D.C. And Nicole has watched me grow from a little baby religious educator all the way to ministry. We worked together in Annapolis as part of Awake Ministries, and Nicole sang at my ordination. So she is a blessing, and we're so glad that she's here today. So thank you. So this morning, we are going to participate in a ritual and bear witness to a transition in life. And that transition is a transition from youth to young adulthood. So I'd like to invite Eleanor Clemens Pope up here to bridge from our youth program into our congregation as a whole. Bridging, I think, might be one of the best things that we do as Unitarian Universalists. It brings hope and breathes life into our faith. Eleanor, as you move from youth to adulthood, I charge you with saying yes. Our Unitarian ancestor, Theodore Parker, wrote, "I do not pretend to understand the moral universe. The arc is a long one, and my eyes reach but a little way. I cannot calculate the curve and complete the figure by the experience of sight. I can divine it by conscience. And from what I see, I am sure that it bends towards justice." Martin Luther King Jr. then paraphrased his words in the 1960s and said, "The arc of the moral universe is long, but it bends towards justice." And Eleanor, for as far as I can see the bend in that arc, you can see further. So I invite you to heed my charge of saying yes. Say yes to bending the arc of the moral universe towards justice. Use what you've learned here at Cedar Lane to make love work in your life. It may take some time to discern how to use your personal gifts, although I can say you're pretty well on your way. How to use your personal gifts and talents to bend the moral universe towards justice. It might be as simple as picking up a turtle off the road and moving the turtle to a stream. And it may be that thing to which you commit your entire career, or both. What I know of you, I think it's probably both, I'm thinking. Keep listening to that inner voice, divining by conscience, as Parker says, and keep imagining what the world might be like if we keep on bending the arc together. My other charge to you is to say yes to our faith. Stay rooted and connected to Unitarian Universalism in faith and community. In life, you are going to encounter challenges and disappointments and heartbreak. And when you do, remember to draw on the spiritual principles of our faith. Remember that this community, the people here, have said yes to you, and they will always be here for your ups and downs, through your highs and lows, for your check-ins and check-outs, for the ouches and the oopses. We will be here for the joys and the sorrows, the milestones and the passages, the step-ups and the step-backs. Remember that we will always be here for you. And indeed, Unitarian Universalism will always be here for you. Wherever life takes you, I charge you to find a local UU congregation and become an active member, because Unitarian Universalism needs you. And you may find that you need this life-affirming, life-giving faith. As youth and young adults, you show our movement the way forward, not just because of who you will become in the future, but because of who you are right now. Unitarian Universalism is built on a rich tradition of youth and young adult leadership that spans over a century of Unitarian and Universalist faiths. It is rooted in the millennia of liberal religion dedicated to making a world filled with more love and more justice. Before the consolidation of the two faiths in 1961, it was the youth who blazed a trail, demonstrating that we could be one as a religion, creating the liberal religious youth in 1954. Youth commitment has been critical for raising profiles on issues like anti-racism, environmental justice, and keeping those issues at the forefront of our faith. This is why there's no greater investment in changing our world, and I charge you to change it. In that spirit, I charge you to make the promise to turn your hands, your thoughts, your life toward building the beloved community, both within and beyond, and to say yes. Keep bending the arc of the moral universe towards justice, and remember your Unitarian Universalist faith as you change the world, which I know you have already done and will continue to do. And as you transition, we have a blue boat chalice. I'm wondering if we can maybe get a close-up on this. So this chalice represents a song in our teal hymnal, Blue Boat Home. And may you remember that this is a gift from the congregation so that you know that you will always have a home wherever you sail. Our hearts are filled with love and hope and gratitude for you, Eleanor, and all you have given this congregation. And you have shared that you are filled with gratitude as well for all that you have received from this congregation. And that in that spirit of gratitude, we'll gratefully receive this gift of music from Eleanor. Thank you.
Eleanor, that was lovely. You've made Cedar Lane very proud. Let us center ourselves and enter into this moment, calling upon all the sources of love that are within, among, and around us. We gather in this sacred space, across time and space, a sanctuary amid the many challenges of life, a center from which we gather strength to face these challenges with courage and hope, faith, and love. Yesterday saw a repeat of gun violence in our country. Our hearts go out to the people of Buffalo, where 10 people died by gun violence and where their families and their community are not only dealing with the grief of their loss, but dealing with the knowledge that they were chosen by the murderer because of their race. In Milwaukee last night, 21 people were injured in 3 different shooting incidents. We pray for the people of Ukraine and the thousands who have died and the millions who've been displaced from their homes. Our hearts go out to all of those who are enduring the ongoing devastation of war in their world. May these friends of ours, our companions in the world, and all the joys and sorrows we hold as a community in our hearts be held in the embrace of silence.
Or marking the anniversary of a loss are invited to rise, embody our spirit, or share their names in the chat. I invite you to join me in a moment of prayer and meditation. Find your center in your seat or at home, wherever you are. Feel supported by the chair you're sitting on or the floor that you're laying on. And just breathe into this moment. Spirit of light and love, Spirit of all that is holy and sacred, we come today asking for strength to endure the difficult news that we have heard and bear witness to, and strength to endure our own personal challenges that we are facing. We invite you to help us find courage to embrace a new normal, courage to embrace change, courage to embrace a new way of being that is inclusive of everybody and everybody's lived experience. And we invite you to help us find our own inner wisdom. Help us listen to that still small voice inside that's telling us what we need to hear. We find strength, courage, and wisdom when our heart is in a holy place. Help us find that holy place in our hearts this morning as we close our prayer with Amen, and join Nicole in our hymn, singing hymn number 1008, When Our Heart is in a Holy Place.
When our heart are blessed with love and amazing grace when our heart is in a holy place. When we trust the wisdom in each of us, every color, every creed and kind, and when we see our faces in each other's eyes, then our heart is in a holy place. When our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place, we are blessed with love and amazing grace when our heart is in a holy place. When we tell our story from the deep inside, and we listen with a loving mind, and we hear our voices in each other's words, then our heart is in a holy place. When our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place, when we're blessed with love and amazing grace, when our heart is in a holy place, when we share the silence of a sacred space and the God of our hearts within, and we feel the power of each other's faith, then our heart is in a holy place. Heart is in a holy place. When our heart is in a holy place, we are blessed with love and amazing grace. When our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place.
Thank you. You may be seated. Every Sunday during our worship, we take up an offering. It's good to remind ourselves from time to time that our offering is symbolic as well as practical. We know that through financial giving, we build our budget and fund our mission and ministries of worship and religious education, pastoral care, and social justice. We pay our staff and professional religious leaders and finance the comfort and beauty of our grounds. Today, we share our offering with World Central Kitchen, which you may recognize as a nonprofit business founded by the award-winning chef, Jose Andres, to deliver needed food to people in crisis. Most of us in the DC area know Andres as the creator of favorite local restaurants like Jaleo, Zatenya, and Minibar, among several others. Andres founded World Central Kitchen in 2010 in immediate response to the devastating earthquake in Haiti in order to deliver food to the Haitian people when all was lost. His pledge is that World Central Kitchen will be first to the front lines, providing meals in response to humanitarian, climate, and community crises. He understands that food, that food isn't just essential so people don't starve, but that food is the fastest way to begin reestablishing a sense of safety and community. It brings us together with comfort and hope. In these crisis locations, World Central Kitchen builds resilient food systems with locally led solutions, with an increasing emphasis on leaving infrastructure in place when it departs. So from the beginning, Andres resolved not just to drop off and distribute food supplies, but to send his crews with food supplies and mobile kitchens to cook for and feed populations wherever in the world they are in crisis. The locals help him create a menu of the favorite comfort moods of that specific culture. They assist with cooking and serving, and he stays in until the communities can rebuild enough so their own public systems can take over. Finally, he doesn't send his crews food and kitchens tomorrow or next week or later. World Central Kitchen is organized to mobilize response and delivery, so his kitchens are on the ground cooking today. Since Haiti in 2010, World Central Kitchen has been on the first of the front lines of crises across the world, such as Puerto Rico, Australia, New Orleans, under the Texas border bridges with Mexico, Kentucky, Beirut, the Spanish island of La Palma, and in Ukraine. In Ukraine alone, it's already served 16 million meals and 8 million pounds of food. World Central Kitchen is especially appropriate to support during our Share the Plate because of this congregation's social justice priority and commitment to address food insecurity championed by our local organizations. World Central Kitchen's scope is worldwide, but it too is located with its headquarters here in Washington, D.C. There are so many ways to give here at Cedar Lane. You can give by the electronic means of the modern era, text, online giving, PayPal, or QR code, or by mailing a check to the church. And if you're in person, you may place your offering in the brass bowl in the back of the sanctuary. The offering will now be gratefully received.
Inside my head there lives a dream that I want to see in the sun. Behind my eyes there lives a me that I've been hiding for much too long. 'Cause I've been too afraid to let it show. 'Cause I'm scared of the judgment that may follow. Always putting off my living for tomorrow. It's time to step out on faith. Gotta show my faith. It's been elusive for so long, but freedom is mine today. Gotta step out on faith. It's time to show my faith. Procrastination had me down, but look what I have found. I found strength, courage, and wisdom. It's been inside of me all along. Strength, courage, and wisdom inside of me. Behind my pride there lives a me that knows humility. Inside my voice there is a soul, and in my soul there is a voice. But I've been too afraid to make a choice, 'cause I'm scared of the things that I might be missing. Running too fast to stop to listen. It's time to step out on faith. I've got to show my faith. It's been elusive for so long. Freedom is mine today. I've got to step out on faith. It's time to show my faith. Procrastination had me down, but look what I have found. I found strength, courage, and wisdom. It's been inside of me all along. Strength, courage, and wisdom inside of me. I close my eyes and I think of all the things that I want to see. 'Cause I know now that I've opened up my heart, I know that anything I want can be. So let it be, 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 so let it be. Oh, strength, courage, and wisdom. It's been inside of me all along. strength, courage, and wisdom inside of me all along. Strength, courage, and wisdom inside of me, inside of me.
It's one of those Sundays where it feels like it's come for the music, stay for the sermon kind of thing. So thank you, Eleanor and Nicole and Jasmine. It's been lovely. So, Cedar Lane, in 1959, you set a course to become a leader in our faith and demonstrated your commitment to our faith and the faith of our children and youth by ordaining lifelong religious educator Sophia Faz. Sophia Faz has been described as being responsible for the UU Renaissance of the 1940s, as she revolutionized the way that we did Sunday school, using what was known about child development at the time. And ordaining Faz Cedar Laners was a subversive act of faith. It was subversive on several fronts. First, Sophia Faz was a woman. Even though women could and had been ordained by Unitarians and Universalists prior to Faz, in post-World War II America, it was very, very rare. The second and little-known fact about her ordination is actually something that's hidden in our Cedar Lane archives. A fact I didn't know until I was doing research for my UU history paper in seminary. So before I get to that fact, I have to just let you know how ordination usually works. So when I was ordained at Cedar Lane last October, I went to the Board of Trustees, and I asked if they would ordain me, as is the custom for most newly minted ministers who have been approved for ordination by the Ministerial Fellowship Committee. But we know at Cedar Lane and at Unitarian Universalist congregations throughout the nation that each congregation has its own polity, so they can decide who they want to ordain and who they don't. But Sophia Faz's ordination did not follow the traditional path. It was, in fact, the women of Cedar Lane who asked her to be ordained here. Based on reading the letters back and forth between Faz and the women of Cedar Lane downstairs next to room 10 in that musty little room, I encourage you to go there, ask Glennis. She can get you in. So I read the letters back and forth between the women of Cedar Lane, your collective ancestors, and Sophia Faz. These women, your ancestors, wanted to be seen as leaders of the denomination and leaders in religious education. And as such, they asked Sophia Faz to be ordained here. And there's a letter downstairs in which she's like, I'm not sure, I'm kind of old, I'm kind of done with my career, I'm not sure if I really want this, let me think about it. And then the women of Cedar Lane are like, will you please do this? We would love to have you come. And she's like, okay, what do I have to lose? So she did it. The third way that Sophia Faz's ordination was subversive, and she names this in her sermon, and yes, she preached her own sermon at her ordination, which again is subversive. In her sermon, she congratulated Cedar Lane for the fact that you have, and I quote, ordained me not to the ministry of education, but to the ministry. In that simple statement, she was signaling that the work of the many people, mostly women, who helped form the faith of our children and youth, she was signaling that they were engaged in deep and important ministry. Here's the thing, though. People are complicated, right? And for all her excellence in leadership and moving our faith forward and keeping it relevant in post-war America, Sophia Faz, like many white middle-class people of her time, was steeped in white supremacy that she didn't even realize. She was born in China and raised by missionaries, missionaries who were part of the colonizing force of the 19th and 20th centuries. Growing up, she imagined that she too would become a missionary. And by default, and she wouldn't have said this, she would have become a colonizer. Her second book for children was called Red, Yellow, and Black, Tales of Indian, Chinese, and Africans. The title alone communicates that this book was full of tropes and stereotypes. Not surprisingly, given the title, the book is told from the perspective of white people encountering people of color. And although throughout her life, and it was a long life, she lived to be over 100 years old. Although Faz grew in her understanding of the interconnectedness of all humankind, she wrote the curricula she wrote, the curricula on which UU's generations of them were raised, continued to center the experience of white middle-class children, with only a passing mention of people of color, if people of color were mentioned at all. So how were white UUs expected to create beloved community in the 60s and 70s, to create a beloved community that welcomed and cherished all lived experiences, if they were never given the tools to access that experience, even in their imaginations? The Sunday school model of religious education that we know today was developed by many similarly well-meaning and extraordinarily intelligent white women like Sophia Faz in post-World War II America. They were adjusting to a baby boom, and the women who may have been working during the war were now charged with raising the children. They had time and resources and intelligence to spare as they embarked on shaping the spiritual lives of their children. They modeled the religious education programs to emulate a school classroom. And the classrooms were literally overflowing. Some people might remember that time, yeah, like literally overflowing. So much so that there are church newsletters both here and at Rockville, our sister congregation, from the 1960s, where children were being turned away if they came late, or if they didn't pay the religious education fee. Can you imagine having a fee for religious education? All of this was an amazing and exciting time. And it was happening at Cedar Lane and at mainline Protestant churches throughout the country. Sunday schools were bustling so much that no one stopped to think about who was being missed by this model. People of color who were invisible in the curriculum, working class people who couldn't spend the week preparing to volunteer on Sunday, neurodiverse people who didn't thrive in a traditional classroom, LGBTQ plus families or families with single parents who were never seen in the curriculum or as part of the fuller narrative of human existence. So that upstairs, downstairs model, a Sunday school model of religious education, has formed the faith of many of you sitting here today. It was beautiful, it is beautiful and meaningful, and the relationships that are created in those Sunday school classrooms are things that I hear people talking about as adults. So there is nothing to be lost in Sunday school. Heck, it even formed the faith of President Barack Obama, who attended a UU Sunday school with his grandparents. Yet, Barack Obama's not a UU today. though you can see how he lives out many of our UU principles. This model of religious education is something separate from what adults do, created a generation of nuns throughout the country, people who are spiritual but not religious, people who are not affiliated with a congregation, although they may believe in a higher power. Now, I know it's tempting at this point to get defensive and to say, well, we've always done it this way, so, and it's serving my kids, so. But I invite you to think about this. The experiment in Sunday school has been a relatively short one when you think about the millennia of religious history. Cedar Lane, beloveds, we are at the beginning of an amazing opportunity to be leaders in our faith once again. As the poem I read earlier calls us to do, we are in a moment when we can rattle the cage that slave wage built, even if we are the ones who didn't know filth until tonight. We can begin songs that sound something like people turning their porch lights on and calling the homeless back home. We can call the spiritually homeless back home to this life-giving, life-affirming faith that means so much to each one of us here. If we're to remain relevant as a faith in the 21st century, we must decolonize our way of transmitting our faith to our young people, while at the same time deepening our faith as adults so that we continuously become more and more spiritually mature. Moving from a religious education model to a faith transmission model that's more holistic and integrated, a model of faith formation that allows us a fresh start without giving up the pieces of Sunday school that worked for so many in our community. We are keeping Sunday school. It is beloved here at Cedar Lane, and it has been working for so many people for so many years. And next week, I'll talk about the amazing and dedicated volunteers who make it happen. But we can also touch the lives of all the people who have been historically left behind. Moving to an integrated faith formation model allows us to have a more expansive view of where and whom we spend our resources of time, talent, and treasure on. When I was hired as a minister of faith formation in October of 2021, people asked, what exactly does that mean? What do you mean by faith? So according to the liberal theologian Paul Tillich in his essay, What is Faith? Faith is certain insofar as it is an experience of the holy. Faith is uncertain insofar as the infinite to which it is related is received by a finite being, me or you or us. Faith does not require a dogmatic belief in a transcendent God. In fact, Tillich explains that doubt is essential to faith as it allows us to return again and again to the big questions and get deeper and more complex answers each time. When we return to those questions and seek deeper answers, that is when our faith is formed. When we tap into that strength, courage, and wisdom that's been inside of us all along, that is when our faith is being formed. And it certainly doesn't end at 18. In fact, some would say it's actually just beginning. And when we take a holistic and integrated view of faith formation, we begin to see that it happens on Sunday mornings, yes, and it also happens beyond Sunday mornings. Did you know that out of the 44 Sundays that Cedar Lane has a church year, I mean, not including the summer, but our traditional church year, there's 44 Sundays, and Cedar Lane only offers Sunday school on 21 of those Sundays. So if a child attended Sunday school every week, they would only be getting religious education from us, from Cedar Lane, for 21 hours of the entire year. That is, if we believe that faith formation only happens in the Sunday school classroom. With the development of sports and other Sunday morning obligations and more people identifying as spiritual but not religious, we know that most children are not attending every Sunday. So how do we as a faith community ensure that our children are becoming more spiritually mature? We have to move faith formation beyond Sunday school. So I invite you to think right now about the last time your faith was formed. When was the last time you encountered God or the divine, a feeling that you are in the presence of something greater than yourself, something infinite? Maybe you even had a feeling of ecstasy. Just hold that moment in your heart. Now, I wonder if that experience was in a classroom setting where information was being imparted upon you, or was that experience when you were in relationship with someone or something else? We're going to make it through. Me and my voice and you all, we're going to make it through. Because I entered Cedar Lane as a ministerial intern, you might not know, and some of you might know, but I was a religious educator for 11 years. And I'm a credentialed religious educator, which means I received rigorous training from the UUA, and I had to submit a portfolio of my work to my colleagues for review, and I was interviewed by leaders of our faith. In addition to that, my first master's degree is in education and human development. So with 25 years of training and experience, I have learned a few things about religious education and faith formation. Most I learned from direct experience and mistakes. Some I learned from books and excellent liberal and liberation theologians. And I want to share with you just a little bit about what I know. Faith formation is formed by the ways in which we more deeply understand our own identities and how our identities intersect within ourselves and also within our community. Faith is formed over a lifetime when we are in relationships. As process theologian Bernard Loomer says, we create each other. Humanist liberation theologian Anthony Pinn calls this act of co-creation, the act of co-creating each other, complex subjectivity. That's my seminary word for the day. The more complexity with which we experience ourselves, the more deeply we can understand another person, or a piece of art, or any religious experience. Faith formation is a developmental process, but it's not a linear process. I like to think of human development as a spiral. The deeper you go, the deeper you can go. Throughout our lives, we experience different types of developmental processes, right? There's language development, physical development, emotional development, and also spiritual development. As adults, we have a moral responsibility to attend to all the parts of development for the young people in our lives. What we sometimes forget is that we also have a moral imperative to attend to all of the parts of development within ourselves, including spiritual development. Finally, as a religious educator, Connie Goodbreed says, everything we do is faith formation. Everything we teach is Unitarian Universalism. The congregation is the curriculum. You are the curriculum. I am the curriculum. We can be intentional about integrating faith formation into every part of our congregation, and in doing so, become leaders of our faith again. All we have to do is shift our lens a bit. So what if we say yes to forming our faith by widening the circle of concern to include the gifts that every person brings to this congregation? What if we say yes to forming our faith with every single committee meeting? What if we say yes to forming our faith with every single pastoral care visit? What if we say yes to forming our faith with every hike we go on, with every book we read, every time we do the dishes? What if we say yes by forming our faith with every celebration, with the church auction, with each choir rehearsal, with every potluck, with every Zoom meeting? What if we say yes, once again, to being leaders in our denomination and moving our religious community into the 21st century with innovation? What if we say yes? What if we say yes? Now let us rise, embody our spirit, and sing hymn number, not yet. I got one more thing to say. I was so good. So what if we say yes? So I'd like to close out with the poem, the end of the poem we heard earlier, Say Yes, by Andrea Gibson. This is for the possibility that guides us and for the possibilities still waiting to sing and spread their wings inside us, because tonight Saturn is on his knees, proposing with all 10,000 rings that whatever song we've been singing, we sing even more. The world needs us right now more than it ever has before. Pull all your strings. Play every chord. If you're writing letters to the prisoners, start tearing down those bars. If you're handing out flashlights in the dark, start handing out stars. Never go a second hushing the percussion of your heart. Play it loud. Play like you know the clouds have left too many people cold and broken, and you're their last chance for sun. Play like there's no time for hoping brighter days will come. Play like the apocalypse is 4, 3, 2, 1, but you have a drum in your chest that could save us. You have a song like the breath that could raise us, like the sunrise into the dark sky that cries to be blue. Play like you know we won't survive if you don't, but we will if you do. Play like Saturn on his knees, proposing with all 10,000 rings that we give every single breath. This is for saying yes. This is for saying yes. Now let's say yes by rising and singing hymn number 1014, Answering the Call of Love.
The promise of the Spirit, faith, hope, and love abide, and so every soul is blessed and made whole. The truth in our hearts is our guide. We are answering the call of love. Hands joined together as hearts beat as one. Emboldened by faith, we dare to proclaim we are answering the call of love. Sometimes we build a barrier to keep love tightly bound, corrupted by fear, unwilling to hear, denying the beauty we found. We are answering the call of love. Hands joined together as hearts beat as one. Emboldened by faith, we dare to proclaim we are answering the call of love. A bright new day is dawning when love will not divide. Reflections of grace in every